This episode may contain strong language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Mulroy, who has forgotten to push record to record the show. Well done, sir. Well done. We have started with that.
Good start, it.
Pissing myself laughing like.
So, welcome to this week's 22 Dropouts, where we had got 3 minutes into the show before my very good friend decided to let me know that I had forgotten to start recording. Although I did start the timer, so yeah, thanks, Sam.
You might want to restart the timer.
I've done that as well. What I hadn't done was taking you off. So all the time I've just been saying hello to everybody and looking at this camera here. I've just realised that on the monitor below, it's just got your face on, mate. So, welcome to the show, everybody. Chris, you were doing the intro tonight because you interrupted. So that was the rehearsal. Do you want to do the proper one now?
Oh, no. Leave this as it is. Leave this
Mate,
as
you're
it
on.
is.
You're on. Intro.
I know, I'm not fucking doing it. You fucked up this time, not me.
No, leave it as exactly how it is. That's exactly how it is.
Listen, we are rolling. We are rolling. It's live TV. We can't change it. It's a bit like turning up 3 minutes late for the 6 o'clock news and then going fuck. Your TV career, like ours, is not going to go very far. But yeah, you can check us out on our social media channels. Twitter, not WhatsApp, that's not social media.
Fucking hell.
Facebook, Twitter. This is why he should do it. He's young, he gets this shit. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Look up there. They're all there anyway. I don't know why I don't just look up and read it across like that each week. But they're all up there.
I think this has been the best start to a show we've ever had.
If this is the best start we've ever had to a show, fucking hell, I'd hate to see the worst. Anyway,
it's like the first time you've ever done it.
No, it is nearly a year since we started, and we're still practicing.
That's
still
a fucking
practicing quite
scary
hard.
thought,
It is, isn't it? I think we'll have a look back over the last 12 months in a couple of weeks' time. Might even have to have some birthday cakes as well.
Do we get the best bits like showreel?
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to put one of your best bits.
Did you just
I'm
say
going to put one of your best bits now, Chris. Here you go, just for you.
My bladder, which is smaller than my knob, was crying out.
Your bladder's smaller than your knob.
Must be tiny. That's the joke. Just don't burn. Don't burn.
I'm sorry, but you said best bits. Don't you mean not the worst bits?
Yeah, the not so bad bits.
It's the best of the worst.
In good British tradition, the not too bad bits.
That's it. Yeah, we are good. Talking about not too bad, how did we find this weekend's rugby?
Interesting.
We went online and watched it from Sweden anyway, because the only rugby I watched was actually streamed on YouTube or Daily Motion, which is what Rugby Europe used.
So you watched Rugby Europe then, Jules? I
watched Spain versus Russia, ladies, and I watched some of the Wasps versus Quins. Oh, Quins versus Wasps game. Sorry.
Did you watch the Madrid Sevens?
And I watched some of the Madrid Sevens. Yes. And it was all very, very good. Apart from the Spain game, to be honest, the national team game, they absolutely trounced Russia. But the Russian ladies, I've got to say, on the Seventh Circuit were absolutely fantastic. They gave they might have beaten somebody who Mike, you are very vocal about usually, and are suffering from COVID a lot right now.
Me?
Yeah, you. Who do you normally rant on about at some point? Which country?
Sam?
I'll give you a hint.
Oh no, he can't come on the show. Has he been tested for COVID? Has he got a COVID vaccine certificate? If he hasn't, he's not
fucking hat.
We are the COVID-free show. There you go. Look, I'll send you all the COVID tests in the post. We'll do them live next week.
Yeah, because you can't sell them for shit.
But the Russian
garage. I've got a garage.
Sevens absolutely trounced the French on the Saturday.
Well, talking to sevens, some bad news coming out of America today, Phil.
With Perry Baker?
Yeah. Didn't look nice, did it?
No, that's going to be tragic. He probably won't be in the Olympics. But there's always a chance the Olympics get delayed another year anyway.
Silver linings.
If we delay another 3 years, it doesn't matter. We'll just miss one.
I know we talked about this a while ago. I mean, all of these teams really need to get some experience and some training and game shape going. So these second tier tournaments and everything else will be an opportunity for a lot of these teams to go. The question is, are they going to be able to go with all the quarantine restrictions upon arrival and departures and all that stuff?
Well, if it's organised well, of course they are. You just have to give enough time between tournaments and plan it to allow for the quarantines. It's not rocket science. And then, then you have to worry about funding for staying there for 10 days.
So that's my point. I mean, you're looking at 3 weeks, every 3 weeks a tournament. And if you got to go sequester somewhere for 2 weeks leading up to it, I mean, that's a big expense that most teams cannot afford.
Yeah. I mean, they've done it now for the Australian Open with tennis. And if you've seen some of the press on that,
did we just go there to tennis?
The conditions that the players have been staying in. They've been staying in their rooms, stuck inside, in Victoria. But when they were all those who stayed in Adelaide, which was a little bit less quarantine there, they were outside training. So there was a little bit of a mismatch on who could train and who couldn't, based on where they were. And it'll be the same for the rugby.
You're not traveling with
quarantined, what country you're in, what border you're on.
Sure, but they're not traveling with 16 to 18 people, right? So it's a big problem.
Obviously, here in the UK, we've just had Boris's big announcement about the roadmap back to normality. Outdoor sports are turning on the 29th of March. I know it's all speculation, but what do we reckon that means for rugby over here, Boris? Tom, give us an insight. Anything from inside the RFU?
Whoa. Are you actually asking somebody from the RFU, and Tom represents the RFU, being a council member, that they've actually made a fucking decision within 3 weeks of an announcement? Of course not. Don't put the poor lad on the spot like that.
Tom, tell us everything.
All I can say is that, it's something that there's been lots of preparations for that. They've got plans and ideas of different sort of ways to be able to return. Obviously, the return to rugby roadmap that they used before is going to be used in the same way. Got a better idea of what those adapted games will be now. I reckon
we played 2 of them because that's all we got before the lockdown. Yeah. We're dead used to that now, aren't we?
Have we got to enjoy ready for rugby again?
We probably, I don't know. Who knows? I think that the thing is that we never know until DCMS turn around and say yes or say no. Every time I've had a meeting with the RFU, it's been we've got a meeting again on Friday. We'll let you know what happens, and then they said no again. So it's typically the response.
Do you think we'll come back at stage E, which is where we left off on the rugby roadmap to return?
I don't think we'll come back at stage E. I think we'll come back at stage D. Personally, I think we'll come back at stage D with touch, and then we will. But it will be a sort of a 3-week period. Hopefully, this is what I hope and can see happening. A bit of a sort of 2-3 week period of getting people back into core skills, into the game, and then after that, moving on to the next stage. So trying to get into the different adapted games and stuff like that. So that's what hopefully will happen. And I think that sevens will certainly over the summer, definitely. I mean, I can't see it not happening at this current rate. The way that the lockdown eased last time, and then with the added bonus of the commitment to get all adults with their first dose by, I think it was July time.
Offered by the end of July.
off by the end of July. I mean, I can't see why sevens wouldn't be a good option over the summer, especially with this limited contact. Really shorter games, less players. It really is already an adapted game, which is ideal for what the RFU.
Get the Super Series back on, man. Give me some rugby.
I've got a question
Let's
for you.
hope it's better organised this year.
I've got a question for you.
Does that mean we'll get kicked this year?
I don't. To be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. They have put out the dates. I can't remember what they are. They were prelim dates. We should know a bit more by about Easter, but they don't start until June anyway. It's June, July, and I think there might be one at the beginning of August. But there's plenty of other stuff to go on. It's whether all of the tournament organisers have the ability, the time frame, the cash, and everything else like that to get it on. I mean, Bournemouth's already been put back, although we know that London is in Bournemouth, of course, which is why they get all the referees down there. So they've changed their dates. Will others? The bigger tournaments will. It's those medium-sized tournaments and the smaller tournaments. I think they just won't do a thing this year. And then you've got the issue: will they actually do anything in the future? Will they still have their organising, their management team, their ability to do it in the future? Phil, you've got something to chip in here.
Yeah, I got a question for you or somebody on this panel. Is what's going to happen with the Rugby League World Cup?
So last I heard, they were making their final decision. After making their final decision at the end of January, they were going to make a final decision at the end of this month, as that would be the go no go. That's what I've heard.
But none of us give a shit in Rugby League, so let's move on.
Well, there goes 3 of our fans. Oh dear me!
Oh,
it's a big conversation to have. I mean, we know that Dubai has put their dates out for the 1st of December. So assuming things, but again, this is your problem, isn't it? We're not. It doesn't matter what we do. We're not safe until the world is safe. I think is the best way I've heard it put. So it doesn't matter what we do, and I know they've got a real big push over there. I mean, look at Israel. We could move it to Israel because they look like they're almost everybody's done it. But we have to get right in the high 90s sort of percentage of the population before we can truly say that we might then be safe. We don't know, but we might be.
Tom, I've got a question for you.
Yeah,
the RFU really need to change their policy on juniors playing rugby in the summer. So they play all winter. Normally, they play all winter, and then they normally have May, June, and July off. To get them back playing, you need to put a thing out to the clubs, just saying that juniors can do, but probably not tackle because the ground's too hard.
I mean, it's something that I've discussed with others and with people at the RFU as well. And the big thing that they're going to try and push, hopefully, is if we're allowed back to it, is that there's no limit. I can't remember what age groups, certain age groups that can and can't, but some age groups can do ex-rugby sevens. So there's and older age groups can do rugby sevens throughout the summer as well, just like the adults can. So there are opportunities to be able to try and do some sort of stuff and take that on through the summer. The big battle is going to be between then other sports, summer sports like cricket, who are also trying to claw players back. So I think that the idea of sevens, where you don't need as many players, is for those that don't perhaps play cricket. It'd be a great opportunity. Of course, you can still have touch rugby throughout the summer. I know my home club do touch rugby with kids all the way down to sort of the under 5s all the way up to the seniors, and mixing it all and doing different games and just having a real good laugh. So I definitely agree something needs to happen in the summer, but I think that emphasis and that onus needs to be on clubs to kind of take it upon themselves to really make an effort of it.
I know that as well, that like sort of older juniors, we're talking like under 13s upwards, they often do lots of strength and conditioning in the off season as well. Like they'll go and do, I know my cousin when he did guerrilla training and stuff like that, and they got back at the club and they were doing lots of fitness, lots of S&C. I know it's not necessarily rugby specific, but it's something that keeps them engaged in the game.
Yeah, I think they do need. I think what you're trying to say, Pete, is that they need some rugby as soon as they can get it, which I 100% agree with. And it's about keeping the balance between allowing them to have rugby when they haven't had it for so long and safety. But for many of them, sevens is a good option. X rugby sevens is good fun as well. Saying smaller, quicker, easier to do. And hopefully from that something will grow, and we've got an extended season this season anyway, so it's been extended for an extra month. So if we are allowed to get back around March time, we've got a little bit longer than normal to try and get something in. So fingers crossed we can make the most of the time we have left, which I think clubs will now, because I feel that a lot of clubs last time when we were allowed to come back in December thought, oh, we'll wait a little bit, we won't start playing on the 19th of December, whatever the date was, so we can have our first contact game. We'll wait until the new year, and then bam, we're in a lockdown. So I think this time a lot of clubs will snap up the opportunity and get straight back out there, hopefully.
I agree.
But yeah,
I mean, one of the problems
focus
in
on
the
sevens.
past, as well, is that the RFU, especially, I don't know about other unions, but they've always advocated don't just do rugby, go and do another sport outside the season. So of course then cricket conflicts with the finals at the end of the season because they're starting. But then you've got to get them back into it again. So whilst it was very, very commendable, I think you do have to look after your own. And the RFU, whichever union it may well be, has to say, we've got to protect our sport, because everybody else is going to do that and probably not be quite as gracious. Anyway, that's a good place to leave this wonderfully choreographed, rehearsed and recorded section of the show. We're going to take a quick break and we'll see you right after this.
So the Activity Sport 250 has been amazing during lockdown when I've been dancing. It's meant that I can come to the park and put my headphones in and just listen to my music without disturbing anyone else. They're the only headset that I've found so far that don't fall off. They stay on and they're not uncomfortable on your ears because they just rest outside your ears instead of actually going in.
So welcome back to part 2 of tonight's 22 Dropouts, where we're joined by the one, the only Mr. Sam Ramage. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Mike.
Because you have please told me before that I had not started recording the show. We were doing so well up to that point.
I actually did have my hand up for quite. I did have my hand up for quite a while. Actually, wanting to take my turn speaking, but you just kept on blathering piss and let you get on there.
To be honest, I just assumed you were taking the piss out of me. I'm not going to lie. That's why I just cracked on.
I think we all did.
I caught him on as soon as you said switch the timer on. I seen the record thing wasn't up. I was like, oh, this is fucking class. This.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, in the spirit of carrying on talking all things rugby since our New Year's resolution, I suppose we better talk about the 5 red cards that were in the Premiership this weekend.
Like fucking Oprah, innit? You get a red card, and you get a red card, everyone gets a red card.
Yeah, well, so that was the Tigers Wasps game. Anybody got views on those?
I haven't seen these. I haven't seen the red cards from the weekend.
Have you not?
I've been busy on the front line working in Audi, so I haven't been able to...
Key worker.
both my shifts cover the game, so I've actually got plans to watch the games. I was watching the highlights in between my lectures earlier on today of a couple of the games, so I've seen the highlights of the Exeter game, and I think
Chris is watching the highlights right now because he's done nothing but keep looking down at his phone all night.
The first Tigers one was definitely red. Fucking straight shoulders to the head. No fucking question.
That was in a ruck clear out, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the one like on the try line. Not like without a shadow of a doubt, that's a red.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was actually no need. There was no need for it. He couldn't have moved the guy anyway, and he just come absolutely barreling in. No attempt to move bind onto or move a player. The
I think the
Wasps one was a bit.
I think the Wasp one is a little bit harsh. I've just seen it, and it's like he's going in for bind on for a maul, but he can't actually get his arm around, so he tries to go under with his arm, but at the same time uses his shoulder.
It was a double tackle.
My black and yellow tinted glasses. I can't see.
It was a double tackle. One's gone in first. The other one's come in. He hasn't been able to get his arm up because it's hit his own man. That's then caused him to hit him with the shoulder. So the letter of the law is.
It does look less. It does look the less of evil of the two, but it's still a red card.
Yeah, letter of the law. He's made that contact. The first Tigers one.
The first Tigers one is stonewall red.
Yeah,
he'll get 4 weeks for that.
Yeah,
he'll get a good time. What was the second Tigers one? Because there was another one in the second half.
It was tackling in the air from a restart.
Tackle in the air.
Yeah, that was clear.
To be honest, that's the only bit of rugby I watched the whole weekend. Is the last 10 minutes of that.
If I show it on my phone, do you reckon BT will sue
I call it?
Yes.
No, they don't watch this often enough, mate. He took all his space out. There was absolutely no concern for a player off the ground or anything. It was really poor.
Did you see his reaction though when they actually got issued the red card? He was like, "Eh?" Like as if he was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I've got a red card for that."
Yeah.
Like,
were you not there? Were you not part of it? Did you not watch it on the big screen afterwards? Come on, surely you'd have known.
I mean, his better option would have been to, because he just stood there with his arms down. Like, at least put your arms up as if you're making an attempt for the ball, and if you don't catch the fucker, and put him down.
No, he took him out. He pulled out. I don't even know if he was attempting to do it.
No, he didn't pull out. He ran through. There was nothing going on upstairs at that point, was there? He had a brain fart.
I think he went there to actually hit him when he landed on the ground. He got there way too early and went, "Oh shit."
Yeah, he's got it badly wrong. Talking to people who got sort of tackles a bit wrong, there was the one on Sunday, wasn't there? Where was that? Irish Bristol. That was an interesting tackle.
I didn't see the game, so I just saw a freeze frame on Instagram, and I was like, "Hang on, what the fuck's gone on here then?" Because there's just a picture of the guy on his head. It was very close.
It was so tight that you could have gone either way there.
If that's us on a Saturday with no TMO help, it's a red.
It depends on where you see it from. And I think, and this is the thing, isn't it? We're talking about TMO with 19 cameras, zoom lenses, slow-mos, and everything else like that. We see that once in a community game at full speed from one angle, and that's it. And I think nobody would criticize you at all. Even if some idiot on the side happened to be videoing it, stop it, freeze frame, clip it, post it on Facebook, send it to the disciplinary committee and say, look, the part of his shoulder blade touched 93 nanoseconds before his head did, and therefore it had to be thrown out. People like that, get a life, all right? We're trying to make the game fun and not dangerous. Don't fucking be a nose on the side of the pitch. It's
a bit like you, Mike,
rugby.
when you came to watch me ref that final and you caught the red card, yeah. A bit like you when you came to watch me ref the final and you caught my fucking red card. You little fucking ropey nose.
We all saw it. I was standing with five World Rugby assessors.
Most fucking spectators thought I was giving a knock on.
I know. That's only because your signals were shit.
Fuck off.
And to be fair, mate, you brought your AR on beautifully after separating the players. And even your AR thought you were going to ask him if the ball had got knocked on.
He literally
he knocked his head off.
I turned around to him, I was like, right, I've got a swinging arm direct to the head with force. Do you have any to add? He went, you what? I was like, thank you very much. That's a great
I'll buy that for $1. Yeah. We were all over the other end with Leaky and people like that, and we all went, that's red straight away. So there you go. Well handled.
And
but
Chris,
yeah,
what did he give Chris? Yellow.
Fuck off.
Play on.
Play on. Yeah.
So he probably pretended to be French and gave a white card for a technical offence.
No, knock on.
So I think you'd be justified anyway, wouldn't you? If you thought, because it was literally fractions of a second between perhaps the top of but I was talking to somebody today. Top of the back, top of the shoulder. That's damn close to the neck. How really can you justify that?
And what's going to hit the ground directly after you've hit in that angle, feet up in the air, top of your shoulder hits first. First thing that's going to hit the ground after that?
Your head. And then if you noticed, it then bounces up with a bit of whiplash as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you're still going to get that concussive grading.
But the TMO, 3 times, he was asked, because there was no drive into the ground. There was no malice in it. It was just a complete and utter fuck up. He's not dropped him. He's not driven him into the ground. So the referee said, okay, so my decision now, my sanction is based on the contact point. And despite everything, 3 times the TMO said it is top of the back.
Yeah. So that
so
is.
He was clearly going yellow.
Directed there, it's going yellow. You followed the directive all the way through, top of the back hit first, yellow card. No questions.
Yeah, it'd be
what
interesting.
I thought was also interesting, and it may be microanalyzing it a bit, but I'm pretty sure I remember the TMO when the referee said it's going to be a yellow card. TMO said correct.
Yeah,
as if to tell him, "Yep, you've got the right. I've told you."
Well done, Carl.
Well
done, sir.
Proud of you.
That does happen
which
quite
I just
a lot.
immediately thought was just, the completely wrong use of language. It agreed. You agree as a TMO. You agree with the referee. You're not telling the referee what they're supposed to be giving.
Well,
let me tell you what I've seen again.
Yeah. So I like the way.
Mike, I've got a question.
Claire does it.
I've got a question for you though. Did you also ask Carl if his shirt was too tight again?
Yeah, he said he is sending that one in the post to you, though, mate.
Extra small.
Says it'll fit you perfectly.
He's like a tent on either side of him.
Well, he had double arm days last week. You see.
Wow.
That's the neck part.
That's what did it. Double arm day. So no, I think that's probably one of the ones that could have gone either way. I think he was very, very lucky. But again, referee protection is something we talk about often. 2 minutes 57 seconds into the game, and if you do give the red there and it's subsequently rescinded on appeal, you're going to get slammed by your bosses. You get it wrong, you're always going to get slammed. So you're a little bit damned if you do and damned if you don't. And if there's any uncertainty, I suppose, and there was uncertainty from certainly within a couple of people in that team, the refereeing team, that it needed to go yellow. But as I understand it, it was cited before they went home on Sunday. So
really?
Yeah. Team cited it immediately after the game.
Are we talking Six Nations today?
Yeah, we are in part 3, which is yet to come up, because what we are going to talk about.
Wait a second. Stop. Wait a second. I just realized what the problem is. Where's Sam's stash?
Where's what?
His stash.
You've only just noticed that he's had a shave.
Well, no, I'm just looking at how skinny he is. I couldn't get past that. Like he's got no shoulders.
Yeah, when he has a haircut and a shave.
See, Phil was kind enough to actually send me a private message saying, "Mate, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right, mate. But you're thinking I've got something wrong with me because I look so fit."
It does make your cheeks look like a little bit sort of puffy. That's why I said you've been to the dentist.
You're going to somebody punch you again?
No, nobody punched me again.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No, he's got to wait. He's got to wait till the weekend for that when he's watching Scotland.
What's that?
Before you get punched again.
No, that only happened to the World Cup final.
Well, he might not be watching Scotland.
England didn't. Well, this is the thing. See, this is what part 3. Hurry up, part 3. Come in.
Yeah, we're going to talk 3 nations, 6 nations in part 3. Actually, if COVID keeps going this way, it will be the 3 nations by the weekend. But anyway, Exeter Chiefs against Saints, tight game at the weekend.
Here we go.
Made even tighter by the last minute actions. So, guys, what do we think?
Well, we had a little chat, didn't we? And I think me and
We
Tom
had a little chat to say about it.
The guy's moved. He has moved.
Yeah. What's he doing? He's taking a step. If you look at the wide angle shot, he's taking a step.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if you watch the close up, he takes a step. and the Northampton boys have reacted to it. So they haven't done anything wrong. So you can't penalise them for it. However, you do hear shouting at the kicker, which you're not allowed to do. And
depends who's doing the shouting.
That is the question now. If it was the players doing it, then the referee has an excuse to come back and say, right, we're going to let him kick it again. If it's not the players, then he doesn't. So it's simple as that, nice and easy. The players moved. They've gone on a reaction based on his movement. It might have just been a slight adjustment, but he's set up, ready to go. He's made the movement, stopped, looked up eventually and realised they're going and tried to get the kick in quick enough, but it was too bloody late by then.
I think as soon as he saw people running, he's gone rabbit in headlights. He's not tried to take the ball, drop kick it, or do anything else. What he's done is he's basically waiting for the referee to stop them and to tell them to go back. I think what happens is he looks at Christoph Ridley, the referee, because on the wide-angle shot with no commentators, Christoph actually says to him as they're running, "You moved." Then the next thing you hear is he's moved. So you don't hear that first shouting from that particular mic, which means it probably was picked up from one of the mics around the pitch, probably near a technical area. But it is interesting, isn't it? Obviously, we hear a lot more than Christoph would have done down there and the players, because we hear what's going on on the benches at the moment. But that, in fact, there was. We've seen, I mean, Farrell does this as well, doesn't he? He takes a step backwards before he runs forward.
Yeah, when he takes that step backward, they're allowed to go.
No, that's not what the law says. It says when you approach the ball.
Yeah, but that's been clarified by World
It was
in
last year. Yeah. So there was a law
that
clarification that says once you start your process, then that is the time that people can charge the kick.
I thought they brought that clarification in just to stop Dan Bigger doing the fucking Macarena every kick.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is that I think I've seen some people saying online that he's moving his shoulders, he's moving himself back, and I thought, well, if that's the case, then Dan Bigger's fucked.
And on that bombshell, we're going to take a break. Dan Bigger, you're fucked. We'll see you in part 3. Catch you in a minute.
I like the way we talk about the last 30 seconds of play, even though it was a cracking game of rugby.
Yeah.
And that's one thing.
At the end of the day, though, that was the difference between a loss and a draw.
Yeah.
So that was the talking point of the game.
Two missed tackles, which led to the second Exeter try. Apart from that, the other talking point in the game was Saints out Chiefs.
Where have you gone, Mike? Have you popped your microphone in the other room or something? I cannot barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm looking
at Tom, it's good.
I got to say that at the end of the game, the interviews came on and Baxter came on, and the first question they asked him was about the kick, and he was like, "We didn't lose that game on the kick. We lost that game by not taking all those bloody opportunities we had during the match. We didn't play well. We didn't kill off it. We had the game ball for most of the game. We didn't do anything with it. That's where we lost the game. The kick, the ref said he moved. The story."
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
we'll start with just finishing that bit off, and then we'll go straight into Six Nations.
I'll drop Tucky a message, Mike, and ask him whether it was players shouting or the technical zone.
Right. Yeah, let's not do that. Daryl's not here either, so he can't. Which means Tutty probably will drop him in it, like he did.
No, not Tutty. Sorry, Christoph.
Christoph.
We have a nickname for him at uni.
Oh, bless him.
Well, yeah, we don't.
Right, here we go.
He started up a tuck shop at the nightclub in Cheltenham. So.
Right.
Did he?
Here we go then.
They do buttered toast in the middle of the nightclub in Cheltenham.
Fucking hell.
What do you call it? Toasty?
So what you're saying is
hashtag you heard it here first. Welcome back to part 3, by the way, since Tom was just talking about his hot buttered toast in the nightclub.
Listen, when you leave in the nightclub, buttered toast at the end of the night is the best shit going.
Yeah, but he's very spreadable.
Yes, we are talking about somebody's nickname. Which you might.
Tom, I'll take you to the gay bar that do it up in Stoke. They do chicken nuggets toast as you leave.
Right, hang on a minute. Can we clip
I'm
that?
sure you've been there many a time.
I'll take you to a gay bar up in Stoke that does that for you. Yeah, I think that's going to be an outtake for the. Right.
These are an icon for being gay, aren't they?
Chris, I've had enough of an experience that time clubbing with you the day before I had to drive up to fucking Chester for the sevens.
In reflex, listen to fucking ABBA medley, you love it.
I mean, mate, it was a good night, but not when I had to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day to drive
Trust
2
me,
hours
I
up
had
to
a
Chester
fucking great
while
snooze in the
sleeping
car.
on your fucking sofa.
My sleep in the car the next morning was fucking fantastic, mate. I don't know about you, but mine was sick.
Right, well, there you go. Welcome to part 3. Now, just before we talk Six Nations, we're just finishing off. We were talking in the break about the rest of that Exeter Chiefs Saints game because it wasn't the only thing. And Julian, you were saying about Rob Baxter's reaction because, of course, everybody was asking him that after the game.
Yeah, what a gent, what absolute star, I'd say. You get asked about that massive incident, and he turns around and said, "We didn't lose that game because of a kick at the end of the game. We lost it because we had all these chances, we had all the ball, and we did nothing with it. We didn't take our opportunities during the match. That is why we lost the game."
I respect Baxter for that in interviews.
Didn't throw it at the referee. Didn't throw it at
anybody else. He's no bullshit for the public. He'll say it as it is. If he's played bad, he'll say we play bad. He won't beat around the bush about it.
Total respect to him. Absolutely nailed the interview at the end, and gave the excuses for, not excuses as such, but brought out directly why they didn't win.
They were camped on the Saints line for so long in positions you normally expect them to score, and normally they do. But for the vast majority of the game, the defence held out and they ended up getting penalties.
Can I just say the standards of this podcast has fucking dropped since I last was here. Mike's drinking fucking water. Chris is drinking a fucking cup of tea. You get a right royal bollocking if I did that fucking couple of months ago. Jesus.
What are you drinking, Tom?
To be honest, I am naked from the waist down, lads. Only kidding, I'm not really.
Hashtag you heard it here first.
And I mean, I don't know how far we're in, but we haven't had a big cock for a while, so that's been nice.
Oh. There it is.
Is it still there?
You mean one of those?
It's been so long.
I've missed it.
I thought you wanted me to pull
Wouldn't be the same without. Wouldn't be the same without Max's cock.
It's the only reason you came back
talking about your
on.
fucking Snapchat for a minute there.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Tom, are you on Snapchat?
I am, yeah.
No, because you like it.
Don't do it.
What? Oh, God, I don't want to know now.
Watch the New Year show. Watch the New Year show, and then you might find it.
Right, now.
Pick the Snapchat if you're up for it. We can go back to that gay bar later.
This is turning into one of those shows like in our first 3 months where...
It's called gossip.
Yeah, right. So let's talk Six Nations because it's back this week. Or is it? Is it?
Not for France and Scotland, it ain't.
Yeah, Sam.
No, I don't know. They might have a squad. You don't know yet.
Are you having a 28-0 win this weekend again?
They've only lost 10.
I did say that, that Scotland's got a habit of derailing France's championship hopes over the years, so,
So, wasn't it another? 5 of them came down with or tested positive today?
Now.
Yeah, I mean,
10 now.
It's 10 now. Well, it's not. It's listen. At the end of the day, I'd hope to still see France play the game, even with the if you want to call them second or third string starters. But they've got a fantastic squad, and I said that they'll win the World Cup and their own World Cup in 2023. So, still want to see the game go ahead. I still think France will win the championship, but I'd like to see obviously Scotland get the win.
Well, there is a backup plan. If they can't play this weekend, they'll shift it to next weekend on the off weekend.
Oh no, that's not allowed. No.
How off we win?
Then the game has to be at Murrayfield, right? You can't just fucking move it back to France again. No.
Well, I did see on Twitter, to be fair, around the whole France side, that to benefit both sides, France are going to be given an automatic red card from the start anyway, because Wales are going to get it at some point to win a game, and France.
I did come to a shocking realisation.
So many players.
I did come to a shocking realisation, right? Wales have had 2 red cards in their favour. We've got fucking Owen Farrell.
Yeah, you're having another one in your face. Yeah.
To be honest, we'd rather red card somebody else.
Kick him off before he starts.
Now, here's the thing where we had a little bit of a discussion over the weekend, just with the players, and I know some are still on England camp, but if you took away England's 9, 10 and 12, Youngs, Ford and Farrell, and you were to put somebody like Robson at 9, Marcus Smith at 10, I think that would be an excellent combination. But who would you put at 12?
Sorry, Tom. I'm getting a little smell off your nose, mate. Where's that coming from?
Give me a couple of minutes. I just need to
bring back Tyndall
after that dream.
Tyndall at 12. There you go. I'm going to text him that in a minute. We reckon that the World Cup squad for dynamism should be Dan Robson at 9, Marcus Smith at 10, and Mike Tyndall at 12. Now, that's a bombshell.
We're bringing Haskell back at 7 then as well, yeah.
Fuck no.
I think that there's watching Quins recently has been amazing, and I think there's some of the players in there. It's really shown. I think at first when I heard about Gustard going, and I thought, well, it's the older players. They're trying to screw it up. They don't want to look at the change, but clearly it's been the other way around. They've been a bit shackled, it seems, because they've come out and third now in the Prem. So Smith I think is brilliant at the moment. I think he's if you think back to the first game against Scotland in the Six Nations for England, we kicked. The reason why we had no possessions, we kicked the ball away all the time. And it was
fuck off! You were just shite. Had nothing to do with you fucking not having possession of the ball.
I'm sorry, Sam. Sam, we had a fucking 6 on 2. We had a 6 on 2 on the halfway line, and we kicked it, and you say it's not because we kicked the ball away all the game.
No, how the hell do you kick the ball away the whole game when you never fucking had the ball the whole game?
Exactly.
Scotland had the ball the whole fucking game. It's just the few times you bloody had it, you couldn't do anything bloody with it, so you kicked it because it's the last thing you had left.
Fucking big one there, boys. Exactly. Jesus Christ.
Honestly. Tom, don't even making your RFU fucking nonsense excuses and all that. You played like shit, you got beaten by the better team, end of fucking discussion.
So this week, the thing is, though,
are you blaming yourself? Can you take your camera away? Blame yourself.
Someone's put 50p in some.
This is what he's been waiting for. He kept asking for part 3. He's been quiet all throughout, and he's just pouncing.
I've heard of like people having a nibble before, but fuck me.
Oh, mate, honestly, fucking straight in there, fucking hook, line, and sinker, lad. I'll take the fishing rods and all of them,
you need subtitles.
Yeah, thanks, Jules. I was just going to say I'll put subtitles on for that one.
Let's talk about new. Let's talk about new Wales and England. Let me see.
Tennis.
So, how many games are England going to win in this championship? 1. So that'll be Wales winning this game. So congratulations, Jules. Well done, mate. A-B-E.
Damn right, A-B-E. Anyone in England.
Okay. So, can we carry on talking about the sensible thing we were talking about?
Anywho.
Right.
Anyway, as I said, all I think is that I think that we're too predictable, we're too obvious, and yes, Sam, we were shit. I will agree. England was shit, but that was one of the reasons that they were shit. At the moment, it's all down one way. It's so predictable. It's the same rugby every single time. So I think that we need to get more interesting players. Owen Farrell hasn't played for so long. Well,
it doesn't matter. He's not interesting anyway.
To be the world-class quality.
Youngs needs pissing off. Youngs needs pissing off. Like
he's got a dossier. He's got a dossier on Eddie somewhere. He must have.
Ford at 10 coming in against Italy was class.
The point is, do we really see Youngs, Ford, and Farrell being 9, 10, and 12 at the next World Cup?
Probably. No, in our fucking lot. They
will be mine.
So now, 2 years out from that, can't we give those opportunities now to Robson, Smith? But who's the next guy, the next 12? Because we've had some big lumps coming through at 12. But to be fair, they just keep getting broken.
What about that
and then they get slow.
That number 8 plays for Bristol or something like that. Dom
Brandt's good.
Twins.
It'd be a mint inside centre him.
I have no fucking idea. Like, who's this dick who he's called up for flanker from Tigers? I've never heard of him.
Nobody has.
Why has Dom Brandt not got a call up there?
This is Eddie doing
Tigers
Eddie
game,
things.
and he chose the worst of the two, in my opinion. You've got Smith and Dom Brandt, who are just absolutely at the moment killing it for Quins, and I've got no look in the door at all. Obviously, the older lads at Quins pissed off Eddie at the start. Danny screwed his chances as soon as he threw his toys out the pram and had a go at Eddie for not getting picked and everything else. Brownie's well out of it, but I don't know if that's got anything to do with it or not. But
he calls up Power Dogru, right? He calls him up. He's a fucking amazing player. Him on a crash ball is a scary sight. And he's sat in the fucking reserves. Why were we not blooding these young players against Italy?
Let's be honest. Let's be absolutely honest, and let's say exactly how it is. Mr. Jones, if it had been anybody else, he would have been sacked by now. If that had been any other coach, he would have lost his job by now.
We went through coaches so quickly after 2003 that they've decided not to do that. But if that was Wales, if that was Scotland,
it has been. No, it wouldn't. Look at the first 12 months with Pivac now. He had a terrible start.
And Gatland.
No, you've got to give coaches time. We learned that.
And he hasn't had a terrible start. He's now fading off. And there's no way that's coming back up.
You know that Eddie's going to have been using the stats for each player. He's going to be getting a lot more information than we are. And he's going to be picking
money ball.
That. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's going to be getting all that stats information, and he's going to see them in training week in and week out. Now, some of these guys we're talking about might have been invited into camp, and they might not have performed on the day. If you don't perform on the day in camp when they're doing all the statistics recordings,
but then equally, right, his fucking replacement choices. He puts 2 backs in the replacements.
Yeah, maybe
one's a nut, and one's normally a centre, and it's like it doesn't offer us any other dynamic.
What it does, though, is actually covers for things that we don't know about, like certain niggling injuries that they might be carrying in the first team.
Yeah, and Jules is right that it does cover other things, and you don't know whether they've had a mare in training, whether they couldn't get the right calls on the line outs or whatever. There's all those little dynamics. But what it still doesn't do is it doesn't prepare us for the future, because yes, we're doing Moneyball. Yes, we're doing stats. Yes, we're doing kicking. We know that the team, and there was 3 or 4 different people said this over the last few weeks, the team that kicks the most wins. Well, actually, it does on paper. But the problem is this is a dynamic sport. And then one thing I used to love about Gatland when he was at Wasps is he would do all of these things, but right above the door, before you walked out, there was a notice that just says, whatever happens, just play rugby. And that's all. Anyway, while we're talking about Six Nations, we'll do
predictions.
Well, my prediction is no matter what Eddie does, I hope he completely fucks it up and you guys are all right and Wales.
So, predictions. Italy versus Ireland. Ireland by 17. Wales,
Ireland
England.
by 10.
Italy by 5. Let's be controversial. Italy by 5.
That may not be so controversial, mate.
Wales.
I honestly think Italy, if they can sort their fucking defence out, they're due a big win.
I mean, their attack is fucking scary.
Yeah, It's the defense. It's the worry.
Bobby Seat tennis is a class act. He's a once in a generation 10.
They've got a good scrum half as well.
Yeah.
And they're both 12, which is fucking great for the future.
What years old?
Wales, England. Wales by 6.
Wales by 37.
England by 12. Lottery numbers this week, right?
England by 12.
Yeah, dream
England by 3.
France and Scotland.
I think it's going to be a turgid, dirgy, tense, and close game.
I think it's going to be an absolutely fucking
Scotland by 28.
With lots of kicking.
Yeah.
If the game goes ahead, France Scotland, what do you think?
It will go ahead just a week later, mate.
No. If the game goes ahead this weekend,
I'm going to say Scotland against Pippen.
I'm going to say that France will put out a 7-a-side team and still beat Scotland.
To be honest,
by 4.
as much as I'd like to see Scotland win that, even if France
Scotland by 4.
Even if France bring in a few extras, I think they'll still do it. I think they've got that much strength in depth that they'll.
Let's say then, if it is delayed by a week, and France are able to put out their full, their first choice players all the way across, who's changing their prediction?
I don't agree. See, Matt, I'm sorry, but why should the game be postponed by a week?
So you can have the game. If you had 10 people down with COVID, you'd want an extra week to recover.
No, actually, no, I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, if the team, seriously, I'm not being funny, because I've said it before on another chat.
Dour Scotsman dying to win.
No.
28-0. You only beat Fiji 28-0 because they didn't play because of COVID. Right? It's just come on,
you like that, Julian?
For the good of the game, and everything else is that if it's postponed a week, then happy days, because watching Scottish rugby at the moment, Glasgow and Edinburgh, is basically horseshit. All right, we get another chat. We get to talk about a game where you spit your dummy out on the Monday night, and we go ooh la la, viva la France.
All right, okay. But anyway, let's move on.
Right. One of the things this has meant, though, is that we've had some refereeing changes for this round and subsequent rounds. As we mentioned last week or week before, they were hoping to bring people from overseas, and the latest plan, mainly because the Kiwis went, fuck off, 25 days in isolation, kiss my ring piece. So that was off the cards for World Rugby. So they tried to bring South Africans up to help cover, because particularly for the England-France game. Well, it was confirmed today that will not happen because of COVID. There are a few changes there, but that did leave World Rugby with a big dilemma. England-France, Andrew Brace or Mike Adamson. Because literally they are the only two that they could choose from. And they went with
Bracey.
I thought they were going to select you, Julian. My bad.
No,
don't like that one. Don't like that one.
He's too old.
Well, on that bombshell, we have overrun our time in part 3, so we're going to have to say goodnight. This discussion, I am certain, is going to rage on for a little bit longer, especially with Sam.
Hold on. You're going to go fishing, don't worry.
By any chance, is it overrun by about 3.5 minutes, mate?
We'll see you next week after Scotland lose 28-0 to a team that doesn't turn up.
Oh, okay. Well,
see you later.
No. That's not the bombshell. That's not the bombshell.
We've caught.
Have we?
That's a wrap.
You're a twat.